Hope everybody's enjoying these promoter interviews and hearing their stories and what everybody's going through. It's such a great opportunity to realize that you're not the only one, right? When it comes to celebration, when it comes to struggles, when it comes to frustrations, when it comes to all the things that we sometimes can bog ourselves down with, the biggest thing about each one of these promoters that we're interviewing is that we are constantly staying committed to what we said we were going to do long after the moment we set it in is gone. So there's a huge benefit to what makes this fun and what makes this what I call an enjoyable experience of being in community with a bunch of people that are all on the same mission and that are all looking to do exactly the same thing and just improve everybody's life through the ketone conversation. We're educators, and that's ultimately what we're all trying to do at the end of the day. Get this all set up. We will get this up and running. Give me just a second.
Hey.
Oh, looky there.
Hey.
The dinosaur of Canada has come alive.
No, sorry about that.
That's awesome.
This is my first live video, as you probably know, eh? So,
That's all good, man. I love it. I do. I love it. There's always nothing better than a first, right? And this is a
yeah.
great way to here's what's great about this, Matt. I'll be honest with you, is that you've hit Go Pro, you've hit Go MVP, you're building your business, and you've never done a live before.
No.
you know, I mean, people think that this is a lot more complicated, or that people are doing things that are just outside the box of a lot of people's comfort zone, and you have never done this, and so that's awesome, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that you guys recommend doing lives to like tell your story and what have you. And I mean, the way I got circumvented that is I made videos and were able to edit them and so on, just because I'm not quite as fluid in front of the camera, I guess. So I had to piece them together, and slowly I'm getting better. And like some of my videos are have less edits and so on. And now I'm doing a live, so I feel pretty comfortable right now. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Well, hey, the way we start these promoter interviews, again, we want to congratulate you on the success that you've had, but we want to just hear your story, Matt. How did you start drinking ketones? And then what made you want to start sharing the ketone conversation?
well, it's kind of funny. I didn't know much about them. My friend's wife, a girl I went to high school with, Melissa Hooley from Brantford, great promoter. She was promoting them, and she's in a networking group that I'm in. I have a sign, a large format printing business that I do. So we're all in this group together, and her and the girl that really signed me up, her name's Stacy Prince, and she's from Brantford, and she's a promoter under Jacqueline Hammer. And so I got, they were talking about them, and there's people in the group that were on them. The one guy lost like 75 pounds, and in my video, I'm like, I really wasn't interested. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of like, oh, like this sounds like a fitness, like very fitnessy
Yep.
kind of thing. And
Yep.
I was happy with the way I felt, and you always are until you start feeling better, I guess, right? And so I just was happy with the way I felt. And what happened was I did some work for Melissa for her wedding. I made these like custom fishing lures for her, and she paid me in ketones, right? So I was like, well, give me some of your fitness drinks and I'll like try these things. And I honestly, I knew nothing about them. I really thought they were like totally a weight loss kind of thing. So without taking them, and that's what really turned me on to them, is that I didn't know any of the stuff that we speak about, like for me, so I get the drinks, I'll continue. I get the drinks, I start taking them, a day goes by and I'm like, man, I feel like I have a lot of focus. And for me, that's like, I'm all over the place. I got like a bunch of jobs on the go and I do a little bit of everything, And so I'm like, man, I have a lot of focus. And I felt like at the end of the day, I'm working outside in the yard. I got a like fairly big yard. And I'm like, man, I got all that job done. And I felt great. Like I was like, I have a lot of energy. And then, the next day I'm like, normally I'd be like wiped for the day, So like I was a bit sore in the morning. And then come like noon, I felt good again. So I was like, oh, my recovery time. And I didn't know in advance of any of these. I mean, that's people speak of these as actual benefits of
Yep.
the ketones, right? So
Yep.
I'm just taking them and I'm just like, man, these make me feel good. The focus, all this stuff. And I went back to networking the next week after I'd probably taken them about probably 7 days, you know. And so I'm like talking about it, and then one of the other girls that's in there is friends with them, and she isn't like into athletics or anything either. And she's like, no, like I take them every day. That's what makes me feel like they make me focus or whatever, right? So I was like, okay, well this is cool. And you know, so what happened to me and how I got kind of involved is I was like referring all my friends with dad bods, you know, like I was like, have you guys tried this stuff? You know, like you should try this. And so I was referring it to Stacy, and she's like, man, like why don't you promote it? Like you have a different group of people that seem to like, you know, associate with what you're saying, right? And I was like, come on, like, well, tell me more about it. Like, you know, can you make money doing this? You know, and she's like, well, yeah, like you know them, like they make pretty good money. And I was like, oh, okay, well, tell me more. And so she's like, yeah, this is how it works. And so I was like, yeah, I'll try it. I'll be a promoter. It's not you know, it wasn't expensive to start up. And when you have your own business, like starting a business is a fortune compared to this. This is like minor, right? To get into this and be, you know, even if you buy the experience pack and all this stuff, on a starting a business level, it's like peanuts, right? Depending on
And
what you.
I love that you just, I be honest with you, man, I love that you just said that because we really never talked about that much. But I mean, that is such a profound statement for a lot of people because exactly what you just said, it is peanuts in comparison to what it actually costs to start your own private business. So
Oh,
thank you for sharing that.
yeah, and so and being in business, I was like, man, like I spend this every day on you know, materials, advertising, all that, right? And so I was like, okay, well, tell me about it. And then so you know, I told a few people, and I got going with it. I got the experience pack, so I had obviously I need samples. So you know, I started distributing my samples, and slowly I built it up, and to the point where you know and then you know I'm like, well, I got to get this GoPro. Like I want these bonuses, right? I mean, I watched your videos in advance, and you know I was like, yeah, I want to get these bonuses. There's a good opportunity to make some extra money, right? And so that's kind of what drove me, and I found it was fun, like to be on the app and it tracks what you're doing, and like you know you're comparing to other people. So for me, I really enjoyed it. It was fun. You know, and I did some research about like you know, multi-level marketing, things like this, and just what other successful people do. And so I kind of kept that in mind as far as you know, just like my own business. I mean, people think I'm too expensive in what I do. People think you'll never make money painting signs. You know, and you just have to keep focused and keep moving straight ahead. And keep your eye on the target, you know. And I mean, I'm understanding that, hey, this isn't going to happen in a matter of a few months for me. But hey, I've already achieved the MVP. It was a nice bonus. I achieved the GoPro, and you know, I'm kind of on my way, you know. So I know it's not going to happen overnight. Since I achieved the MVP, I've kind of stepped back just a tiny bit because I do have some other engagements that I have to take care of. And so, yeah, and I mean, so I've taken a little step back. So I was really trying to achieve that, and I was really trying to pump it. And so once I did it, that was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Since then I've gained some more customers in that, and you know, and for me it was easy. So I mean, the other thing that happened is that this networking group's a buffet. So you know, I would see how the girls how they were eating, and I'm like, well, that isn't that much different than the way I eat. Like you know, some of the things and just keeping the carbs down. And I was like, okay, well, let me, you know, I'm going to take this full on. I'm going to see how good this stuff actually works, right? And I don't have a scale at home, so I'm like, and I don't even know what I started out at, but I mean, the weight isn't a big thing, but like I feel really good. Like I have a bounce in my step, and so when you believe in something, it makes it a lot easier to sell it to people because it's real.
Hmm.
You're not like selling them something that you don't believe in. And so for me, it was really easy that way. And so I mean, from a like a weight perspective, you know, it changed my diet and the consciousness of um, how conscious I am about what I eat, and I'm learning more and more about that. I wasn't a nutritionist by any means, but you know, just learning more about that and starting to feel better. And so I take on this diet, and I think it's hilarious because I think I might have been 190-ish pounds, 195 pounds, and felt pretty good. So I was taking this, and this is all in a matter of a couple of months, and still felt like I was not dieting. I eat whatever, if I want to eat, I just eat as much meat as I wanted or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
not a diehard. I'd still go out and, instead I drink, you guys got Michelob down there? Yeah, so I drink
Yeah. Yeah.
beer on Friday night, not go crazy, but just switch that way. And, and the way I eat some things, hey, I wouldn't get the sauce on them or whatever, or whatever it was. So I was still cheating and it was so easy. But anyways, the moral of the story is one of the guys at the networking group, and he lost 75 pounds. He's a promoter in Brantford too. And, I mean, an inspiration. I never knew him when he's bigger. He's just like, man, he's amazing. Like, I'm like, it's really amazing that he's done this, eh? And, so he's like, I ran into him. He's like, man, like you've lost so much weight. I'm like, well, I know because I keep punching holes in my belt. Like, it's getting gonna need a new belt. And
Right.
so he's like, I'm bringing a scale on Tuesday for you. And I'm like, okay, we'll bring it. And I'm thinking, okay, like I'm probably like 170 pounds or something, right? And so I weighed myself. I was 158 pounds, which
Oh my gosh.
like I haven't been that light since I was 14 years old. Like I played hockey and was really into weightlifting and stuff growing up.
Wow.
And so to me, it really kind of just it just was testament to how well it could work if you're willing to to follow a semi. I don't even think it's strict, but like just follow something and be committed to it. I guess is what it is, or conform to it. And so since then, I have changed my diet, but also like I've started working out again. And these are things that I really never thought of doing. And I don't know if it's like I got extra energy or what it is, but it's just motivated other parts of my life. And I feel like I'm better for it, And so that's kind of my story. I don't like, and that's where I've been. So, yeah. But any other
No,
questions?
no, yeah, no, I love it. I mean, and that's what we're here for. I mean, we're here to hear all these, different stories of how you started, what got you fired up. But I think one of the coolest parts of this is that, you've never done one of these things before, have you?
No. I just like took it on. It was like, and for me, the best part is that I didn't know there wasn't really a placebo effect because I didn't know any of the benefits other than I thought it was like for weight loss and energy or so, you know what I mean? So I
Mm-hmm.
was feeling all
Right.
these, and then when I went and talked to these people, they're like, no, those are what other people say about it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, awesome. Like,
Right.
and so I think it's helped my business. I'm more focused. I have more energy at the end of the day. And part of it's diet, part of it's the ketones. I got to
Yeah.
contribute to both, but the
Yep.
ketones
Absolutely.
was the catalyst for it all, and what kind
Mm-hmm.
of got me going. And I mean, I drink them religiously every day. And, and I got some friends that have done it. And I guess as far as my business goes, at this point, I'm trying to, I'm starting to develop more of a plan for how I can take this outside of my network of friends and have multiple streams of people to support and be on my team, right? So
Right.
I built a website for it, and I've created different little things. I run some little ads and give stuff away. Some people don't do that, but in the business that I've been in, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, like to promote things. You can't just put the word sale up and think it's always gonna happen. Sometimes you gotta give them something, and so that's kind of,
Yep.
I'm different in that way. And just from the way that I've marketed things, in the past and in my business. So that's kind of where I'm at. And moving forward, yeah, I'm going to try to develop more of a process for promoters that I get under me and how I want to help them succeed. Because for me, reaching the MVP and the GoPro was a lot of, it just helps your self-esteem about the whole thing, right? You're like, man,
Right.
I can
Right.
do. And so I don't have any promoters as of yet, but I'm going to get some. And in my line of business, I mean, I think my biggest benefit to them is that I have an education in marketing. I've had, I run a marketing company for lots of marketing businesses. So from that end of things, I think I can really help with how to advertise this stuff and provide marketing products to them, as well. So that's kind of my plan moving forward, I think. And I mean, you guys are great. I mean, I love the advice you guys got, and your videos. It was one thing that got me interested too, because I mean, you're a fitness person, right? Like, and the other gentleman. there's another Shane in Texas, big guy. I watched
Yeah.
one of his
Shane
videos.
Davison.
Yeah, so I watched one of his videos, and I'm like, man, these guys are like bodybuilders, and they're, this isn't for dieting, like, you know what I mean? This has
Yeah.
a wide variety of things, and so that's kind of your video and the other Shane that kind of got me like thinking like, oh, okay, I'm more interested in this stuff now because that's more the way I used to see myself, I guess, you know what I mean? And yeah, so I kind
Right.
of changed my the way I'm doing things and taking better care of myself. And I'm happy I did it. Like, or I'm doing it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about, again, just blind, I would call it just blind faith, but more about just the uninhibited passion that you have, that it gave you the ability to start sharing this conversation with people. Like, what were you doing? Were you posting on Facebook, social media? Were people seeing you? Like, what was it? How were you reaching people?
Yeah, but that's a great question. So I started out following, examples that you guys were doing. So I did an experience video. It wasn't a live, but like I said, I did a video and just about what I've just told you. I mean, how I got into it. And I mean, I feel like it was kind of like by a fluke, right? It was like, oh, I'll trade you for these things. Here, give me them. I just thought I'd drink these drinks and whatever. And so that's how I started out with it. I did some Facebook videos. You know what? But I'll tell you what.
So that created a lot of curiosity for you, real quick. I just want to ask you. I mean, that got people messaging you, going, "Okay, what is he talking about? Like, what is Matt doing? Like, what is this thing that he's talking about, drinking ketones and he has more clarity?" I mean, is that basically what people were kind of messaging you?
Yeah, so half of them were like Facebook people, and the other thing that really surprised me is that like the proof's in the pudding. People would see me, like I had people like they never seen the videos, and they walked by me at one of my customers. They're like, what are you doing? I mean, what do you mean? They're like, you've lost all kinds of weight. Like, what is that? And I said, two of the people just signed up. Like they were like, I don't care about the stuff. Tell me what it is. Here's the link. I'll take it. Right. So the proof is in the pudding a little bit. You want to walk the walk, I guess. And so that's kind of why I'm taking it a little further. And now I have like a little workout routine and regiment, and I'm going to take it even further. I'm just slowly going into it because I haven't been in that kind of lifestyle for 10 years, and I don't want to like kill myself or hurt myself. So I'm kind of slowly creeping into that aspect. And but yeah, it was partly the lives and or I should say videos and posts. And like I said, I do little promos like get your chocolate lovers sample pack or whatever, and I do them a little cheaper than everyone else, and it is what it is, but it's to get people to
Right.
try once they,
Right.
because I would have never tried it. I wouldn't have, I don't, no, I shouldn't say that. I may not have never tried it if I didn't just trade for these things, right? Like, so
Yeah.
I kind of tripped into it, and and now I think I'm 3-4 months into it, and I'm continuing, that's for sure. And I've got some of the biggest skeptics, involved. And my one buddy's a kinesiologist, and I didn't even talk to him about this stuff because he's like, he understands it at a level that's like well beyond what my understanding is. And I mean, he's lost 25 pounds, and now he knows what I'm feeling, and he's like, he feels the same thing, and so,
Yeah.
everyone's different, what gets them involved. But I mean, what I have learned is you got to want to do something, or the person has to want to make a change for the better.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you can't twist their arm or whatever. You just, if I don't really, if they say they're not interested, I leave it at that, and then sometimes they come back to you. The other thing I found quite interesting is that some people reach out to me that wouldn't reach out to a fitness babe or whatever, like how do you tell this extremely beautiful woman that, this is how I got to be overweight and blah, blah, blah. You just feel weird, right? So I feel it's funny that sometimes the way people reach out to me that know these other people but still feel more comfortable. So I mean, anybody can be a promoter. There's a niche for everybody, I mean,
Yep.
your
Yep.
walk of life, this can benefit everybody. And so it's
Yep.
just a matter of honing in on, or not, just, the people will come to you when they see it, and the people that associate or
That are ready for it. I think there's some points to really hone in on that you made. And it's like, we're not in the business of convincing, right? You,
Yeah.
you were okay with people saying no to you and it wasn't right for them right now. So I've always preached and I've always, led with the concept that you're not in the business of convincing. You're in the business of educating and sharing. The second thing being, I love how you just said, I want to get an experience into people's hands, because that's the beauty of what we have in front of us. We're not asking people to sign up. They don't need to pay a membership fee. We just want them to try ketones. We want them to have an experience, right? And thirdly, it's all about just the simplicity of the model of the product, right? It's one product. I just want you to drink it. Tell me how you feel, because you don't need to follow a specific diet. You sit there and you watch people eating at this buffet and you're like, oh, well, I can do this. This isn't that extreme, which is another, I think, a big home run for a lot of people when you realize you're not trying to be some big nutritional coach and tell them how to eat specifically. People are like, well, what do I need to eat? I'm like, whatever you want. I just want you to listen to your body, and I want you to cut out carbs and sugar as much as you can, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's those are the basic simplistic models of what we call success with this whole thing.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I'm amazed that, like, even people that are I have some friends that are, they're really health conscious, and they're like, so what do you do? Like, I went fishing with them, and they're like, what's going on with you? I'm like, oh, like, I don't know, I just I've just been doing this thing, and they're like, tell me more, and like they had heard of these, right? But they just didn't know how to get them, right?
Right,
So
right.
they're like, they've tried all the different things, and they love them. They're like, so what they like is that they're kind of maintaining what they're doing, I think, is how they feel about it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, so they have the energy, they focus, they feel that too, but without monitoring their diets and stuff like that, I feel like they're
Yep,
maintaining what they want, and
yep,
so
right.
they're not going, well, they run all week, and then weekend comes and they go up 5 pounds, and then they run all
Mm-hmm,
week to go down. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Because the
Yep,
weekend and they're doing whatever with the families and that, and then, but yeah, I think, everyone, it's funny. And I mean, I guess the thing with me is that it made it easier to promote when everyone you give them to feels some kind of something from them, and a positive
yep,
thing, right? So
yep,
that
right.
made it an easier thing to promote for me.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, I got to tell you, thank you again for getting on this Facebook Live. Your first one ever. You did great, and you didn't
Thank
stumble over your words. You were very articulate. I love it. You're not short of words. Let's put it that way. You can carry a conversation very well.
Yeah.
So I think, man, you got a long ways to go. There's a lot of people out there that want to hear from you, that need to hear from you. You definitely have a vigor for life and a vigor for helping people and making a difference. So, Matt, thank you for everything that you're doing as far as leading and then even stepping into a bigger leadership role. That's what's beautiful about this thing. You've never done one of these things before, but yet you jumped right in and you're owning it, man. You're owning it. You're having fun with it. And that's what this is all about, a community of people that are coming together from different walks of life. Like you said, anybody and everybody can do this, right? There's no
Yeah.
prerequisites to how you find success in this model or how you find success in drinking the ketones, because they do something different for everybody. And then more importantly, it's not a weight loss product at the end of the day. It's about a product that truly enhances the body to be in its best version of itself. So anything as far as closing thoughts that you want to leave everybody with?
I mean, it just, you got to try it. I mean, everyone, I mean, I'm grateful. I was excited to be on a live with you. I've seen you on some other ones, and so it was an honor to be on here with you and talk to you about it. And I look forward to hopefully meeting you in an upcoming event or something, and in person. And yeah, I'd love to do another live sometime, and maybe my second one.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I got to thank you because, your leadership's been great. As far as explaining how to get going with it, and just, understanding a lot of the details of it, and just how to promote it, and so yeah, I'm very thankful for what you've done, and yeah, I like your videos, and that's kind of what got me onto it. So yeah,
Awesome.
thanks, man.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. And
yeah,
we're going to see you at the next big event, I hope, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's where it's all coming together. When we all get together, it'll be fun. So
All right,
hopefully
thanks.
we'll see you at the next one. But thank you
All right,
again for being on, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
okay, thanks. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.